Hello, my name is Anna, and today I want to tell you about my day in New York City. New York is one of the biggest and busiest cities in the world. It is full of lights, tall buildings, and people from all over the world. It was my dream to visit New York, and finally I made it happen. Airplane arriving in New York. I arrived in New York early in the morning. I took a taxi from the airport to my hotel. The taxi ride was exciting. I saw tall skyscrapers, big bridges, and yellow taxis everywhere. The city felt alive. People were walking fast, talking on their phones, drinking coffee and rushing to work. My hotel was in Manhattan, close to Times Square. I left my bags at the hotel and went outside to explore the city. Cityscape, Times Square adventure. First, I visited Times Square. It was even bigger and brighter than I imagined. Huge screens showed colorful ads, news, and music videos. There were so many people, tourists taking pictures, street performers dancing, and vendors selling souvenirs. I bought a pretzel from a street cart. It was big, salty, and delicious. I stood for a few minutes, looking at all the lights and feeling the energy of a city. It felt like I was in a movie. Statue of Liberty, visiting the Statue of Liberty. After Times Square, I decided to visit the Statue of Liberty. I took the subway to the ferry station. The subway was fast but very crowded. It was my first time riding a New York subway, and it was exciting. At the ferry station, I bought a ticket and waited in line. The ferry ride to Liberty Island was beautiful. The water was sparkling under the sun, and the wind felt fresh on my face. When we got closer, I saw the Statue of Liberty. It was huge and so beautiful. The statue looked strong and proud, holding the torch high in the sky. I walked around the island, took many pictures, and even climbed up to the pedestal. From there, I could see the Manhattan skyline. It was an amazing view, full of tall buildings touching the clouds. Pizza New York pizza experience. After visiting the Statue of Liberty, I felt hungry. I decided to try New York pizza. I found a small pizza shop not far from the ferry station. The pizza slice was huge. I could barely hold it with one hand. The cheese was hot and gooey, the crust was thin and crispy, and the tomato sauce was fresh. It was probably the best pizza I ever ate. I sat by the window, ate my pizza, and watched the busy streets outside. Deciduous tree walk in Central Park. In the afternoon, I went to Central Park. Central Park is a big green park in the middle of the city. It was nice to walk among the trees and flowers after being in the busy streets. I saw people jogging, riding bikes, playing music, and walking their dogs. There were children playing with bubbles, couples rowing boats on the lake, and artists painting pictures. I found a quiet bench and just sat there for a while, enjoying the peaceful feeling. I also visited Bethesda Fountain. It is a famous fountain with beautiful statues. Many people were sitting around, relaxing, and taking pictures. I even saw a man playing the violin. His music made the moment feel magical. Shopping bags, shopping on Fifth Avenue. Later, I walked to Fifth Avenue. It is a famous street full of shops and stores. There were expensive fashion shops, big toy stores, and famous jewelry stores. I didn't buy anything very expensive, but I bought a New York t-shirt and a small souvenir keychain. I also stopped by a bookstore and bought a small guidebook about New York City. Cityscape at dusk sunset at the Empire State Building. In the evening, I went to the Empire State Building. I wanted to see the sunset from the top. I took the elevator to the 86th floor. My ears popped on the way up. When I got outside, the view was incredible. The sun was setting, and the sky turned orange, pink, and purple. The city lights started to turn on. It was like a sea of stars below me. I stayed there for a long time, taking pictures and just watching the beautiful city. Donut ending the day. After that, I was tired but very happy. Before going back to my hotel, I stopped at a small cafe. I bought a coffee and a donut with colorful sprinkles. I sat outside and watched people walking by. Some were laughing, some were rushing, some were taking selfies. New York never sleeps. It is always full of life and energy. Red Heart saying goodbye. That night, when I finally went back to my hotel room, I thought about my day. I had seen so much: Times Square, the Statue of Liberty, Central Park, Fifth Avenue, and the Empire State Building. New York is big, loud, and crazy, but it is also beautiful, exciting, and full of dreams. I hope I can visit again one day, because one day is not enough for New York. Thank you for listening to my story. Now tell me, if you could spend one day in New York, what would you do? Canoe more adventures in Central Park. After sitting for a while, I decided to rent a small boat. In Central Park, there is a big lake where you can row boats. I climbed into a little boat and pushed away from the dock. At first, it was hard to row. The oars felt heavy, and the boat moved slowly. But after a few minutes, I got the hang of it. The water was calm, and the sun was shining. Ducks were swimming around, and people waved at me from other boats. It felt like a small vacation inside the city. For a moment, it was hard to believe that just outside the park, millions of people were rushing around. After about an hour on the water, I returned the boat and walked through more paths in the park. I passed a small zoo, beautiful gardens full of flowers, and an area where people were roller skating to music. It was like a little world inside the big world of New York. Bridge at night, crossing the Brooklyn Bridge. Later, I decided to visit the Brooklyn Bridge. I took the subway again, which was easier this time because I understood how it worked. The Brooklyn Bridge is very famous. It connects Manhattan to Brooklyn and is one of the oldest bridges in America. I decided to walk across it. The walk was long but beautiful. The bridge is made of stone and metal cables. There were people walking, biking, and even some running across it. From the middle of the bridge, I could see the Statue of Liberty in the distance. I could also see the tall buildings of Manhattan and the boats moving on the river. I stopped to take many pictures. The wind was strong up there, but it felt fresh and exciting. When I reached the Brooklyn side, I explored a little. There were cute streets with small shops, ice cream stands, and pizza places. I bought an ice cream cone and sat by the river, looking back at Manhattan. The skyline looked beautiful as the sun started to go down. Dumpling Chinatown in Little Italy. After my walk on the Brooklyn Bridge, I took the subway back to Manhattan. I decided to visit Chinatown and Little Italy, two famous neighborhoods close to each other. First, I walked through Chinatown. There were bright signs with Chinese writing, colorful lanterns hanging above the streets, and lots of small shops selling everything from souvenirs to fresh fruits. I stopped at a small restaurant and tried some dumplings. They were hot, soft, and full of delicious meat and vegetables. The tea they served was warm and made me feel cozy. After Chinatown, I walked into Little Italy. The street changed completely. There were Italian flags, pizza shops, and people sitting outside drinking coffee and eating pasta. I found a small bakery and bought a cannoli, a sweet pastry filled with cream. It was crispy, creamy, and so tasty. I sat outside and listened to Italian music playing from a nearby restaurant.